first-time buyers and actually second-time buyers have benefited quite a lot from the Help to Buy scheme, the Help to Buy equity scheme. That is coming to a close final close in March next year. There are various other schemes that are available to people. So if you are looking to get onto the property ladder, I would suggest that you research things such as shared ownership, which is a really good scheme for the right person. There are a relatively new scheme such called First Homes, which is perhaps still in its infancy because they're building plots. I think one of the pitfalls of Help to Buy and some of the shared ownership and some first homes is that the properties are restricted. So if you're wanting to buy a new build property, that's great because there are things available out there to you. The question comes is, if you're not buying a new build, what's available for you as a first-time buyer? And we know as a first-time buyer, key barriers to getting onto the property ladder, raising a big enough deposit and being able to afford the mortgage repayments. And we know that because house prices have rocketed in the past 12 months and the past decade even, and wage inflation has not rocketed to the same level, that is becoming more and more of a challenge for people getting onto the property ladder. But there are tools and schemes available to individuals out there. I think that's why it's really important to speak to a broker, because they can advise you in terms of what's the right thing for you. What does it mean? Because also with some of these things, it's important about not knowing what you're getting into. For example, Help to Buy, it's an equity loan that you pay back to the government, and after 5 years there is interest on that. It's important to be made aware of these things, and that's why research is really important. Now, there are first-time buyers that will be having questions now to say, is now the right time to buy? Is now the right time for me to get onto the property ladder? Where do I buy? How much do I put down? What can I afford? All of those questions. And I think the answer is, it's got to be individual to you, hasn't it? Are you comfortable? So if you have raised a deposit and you're really passionate about owning your own home and you want to get onto the property ladder, if you can afford the mortgage repayments, HPI goes up and down. So it's about a long-term investment. And I think what's really important is just making sure that you're comfortable. If things can change, can you afford your mortgage repayments? Can you afford to run your household? Are you comfortable enough to put that money down and tie yourself into a big financial agreement? Take advice, always take advice. And not just from mum and dad, not just from family and friends. Take advice from an independent expert. That's what they're there for. They're there to advise you your best needs, your best interest.